All right, guys, it's Ben with Bullet Points, and today I thought I'd do a quick video on putting what I'm going to put in my new Get Home bag. This is just a bag that I keep in my truck at all times, and it's just got some simple items in it that should stuff hit the fan, and I have to walk home. This will help me get home. Now, there's not a lot here, and there's a reason for that. I only work about 3 miles from home now. Before, I was working 13, 14 miles from home, and this was my get home bag. Everything in here to survive for 3 to 4 days, pretty much. There's 3 or 4 meals in there. There's a couple different flashlights, fire starters, emergency blankets. There's an extra change of socks and underwear. There's a bunch of stuff in there because at the time, I was thinking 13 to 14 miles is a dead minimum of one hard day of walking. Most likely it would end up being at least 2, so I was planning on at least 1 overnight with that bag. So it's got a lot of stuff in there to help with that. Now, coming 3 miles from home, it's literally, I think it's 3.1 miles. That's a 2-hour walk, maybe, right? So there's not going to be as much in this bag. That's why I'm going with a considerably smaller bag. And honestly, in any of my daily travels, and this is where, some people are probably going to argue like, oh, what if you're 10 miles from home? What if you're 15 miles from home or 40 miles from home? My daily travels, I might be 5 miles from home. It's like 5 miles to the nearest Walmart, and where all our little shopping district is. It's about 5 miles from my house. That's 2 hours of good walking, to get home. So it's not that huge of an ordeal. I'm talking about my every single day. My truck that I drive, 99% of the time just goes back and forth to work. And if I am planning a longer trip, I still have my big bag to throw in the car. If I know I'm going, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles from home, I've got this still I can throw in there. And I will do that. I'll switch it from vehicle to vehicle depending on what we're doing. This is just my daily bag. I can throw it in the truck. I can leave it in there. I can pretty much forget about it. And it's just always going to be there. So pretty much what I'm going to start with here is I've got an assortment of things. Some of it's going to be pretty obvious. Some of the other stuff you might be like, hey, why are you putting that in your get home bag? And I'll get to that. So the simple thing to start with is putting my Kel-Tec 9mm in here. I'm going to put that on the inside pocket in here, along with 50 spare rounds of ammo. Because that gun doesn't hold a lot in the magazine. Next, just your basic emergency blanket, something to wrap yourself in. When I always keep like a spare hoodie in my truck. I always have a spare pair of shoes in my truck. Even at work where I work, I have multiple hoodies, multiple jackets. So worst comes to worst, if I got to walk home in the winter, I already have most of, if not everything I need to get home warm and dry. I'm just putting this in here because the odds that I do get stuck overnight, or I do get extra cold, or I need to use it to signal or something. It's cheap, it's light, it's very easy. So the emergency blanket's going in here. Next thing I'm going to put in here might sound a little weird. It's graham crackers. I keep a package of graham crackers in pretty much every bug out bag I have. I have a couple. Some of my bug out bags have more, but it's a quick, easy snack. You don't need anything for it. You don't need to cook it. Nothing. You can pop it in your mouth and keep walking. Again, we're only talking a couple hour walk home. That's just a little something to have. I guess the next thing I'll talk about is I'm going to put a good knife in there. This is actually one of my knives that I made. It's a good high carbon steel knife. I like a good fixed blade to go into a survival kit. So that's what that's going in there, get home bag. I like a good fixed blade. Now, on my person at all times, I already carry a Leatherman. And I already carry a regular basic pocket knife. So that's just a good fixed blade to have as a backup for a backup. We're going to put a life straw in there. This one is Aquamera. It's just a water purification straw. I'm going to stick that in there. I'll stick that in the front pocket here. Fire starter. This is the Bear Grylls one. It's pretty worn. I've used it quite a bit. It's a really, really good little fire starter. I've had it for years. End cap pops off here. I've never used this, but there's a little wad of cotton in there to help you start a fire. So that's a little Bear Grylls fire starter. You can't beat a ferro rod. In conjunction with that, this is another little fire starter kit. Pretty much what this is it's got another little ferro rod in here, but it's just soaked cotton. It's just a tin full of soaked cotton to really help you. It's soaked in something flammable to really help the fire get going. So I'll stick that down in there. This here is a little tool, and some people might say it's stupid to put in here, but I like it. What this does is this lets you turn any plastic bottle into cordage. You just cut it, stick the bottle in here, pull it through. It'll turn any plastic bottle into cordage. This thing weighs next to nothing, so it hurts me in no way, shape, or form having it in here. And it'd be really, really nice to have extra cordage should you need it. So that's getting slipped right down in there. I'm going to put in the main pocket here. This is just a pouch out of an MRE kit. It's got a spoon. It's got some lemon drink, salt, pepper, paper towel. Again, just if I want to mix myself up a lemon drink for the way home, or if I need to eat something, it's convenient to have. No, I don't fit in there. I guess that's going in the main pocket also. There's a couple other little oddball items I really like to have in my kits, and I have them in all of them. Some of them are like some of these little nappy wipes. These alcohol pads, you get them at restaurants. These ones are from St. Hubert's in Canada and Betty & Co. They're just little alcohol pads. They're great for if you just want to wipe your hands off, you get cut, you want to wipe it down. They also burn really, really well as a fire starter. And again, they weigh next to nothing. It hurts me nothing to have them, and there's 101 uses. A simple bar of soap. This is just some hotel soap from Econo Lodge. Again, super light, does nothing, helps you stay a little bit clean. And then Q-tips. Q-tips are another one. They have got 1,000,001 uses as fire starters, keeping clean, cleaning things, cleaning your gun, anything like that. Super light, hurts me nothing to have them. And then I'm also going to take this little bendy rope to help hold these together. Some of you guys out there probably watching this video going, why is this guy doing some of this stuff? Because it's stuff I like to have. And it weighs nothing. Who's it hurting? And we're talking a very short walk home. I got an emergency whistle. I'm going to drop down in here. I've got this little bitty pocket knife. It's pretty much useless except for using as a striker, and that's why I'm throwing it in here as a backup striker. I like light little items like this because they could really save your butt, and it takes nothing to carry them. They take up almost no room. Next, I'm going to put a flashlight in there. This is just a J5 Tactical. I don't even know where I got this. I like it because it's got the zoomable beam. So I'll probably just throw that in the side pocket over here. And then I'm going to throw a spare flashlight in there. This is a waterproof, impact-proof, gas-proof. Takes 2 little AAA batteries. Super convenient little light. Again, you can hang it. It's so small, it's so light. I like the idea of having a backup light. One more thing that I wanted to put in here, and I apparently forgot to grab, I thought I grabbed it, is paracord. I got a whole bunch of it over here, so I'll wind some up and put it in here. But just to know that I'm probably going to put about 50 foot of paracord in here, because everybody knows paracord's got 1,000,001 uses. Sharpie, I'm going to put a Sharpie in here. They write on anything. If you want to leave yourself notes, if you want to write things on stuff for notes, like if you want somebody to follow you, you can leave markings, that kind of thing. So the Sharpie's a really good thing to have. I have a Sharpie. Normally I prefer the Milwaukee ones, but I'm currently out of the Milwaukee ones. So I'm going to grab this guy. Let's see, where am I going to put this at in here? Here we go. That'll fit right down in there. So, you know, I have this sitting here. This is another little fire starter tinder. Why not throw that in here? The stuff weighs nothing. So I like small things that weigh nothing. I have a first aid kit in my truck, so I'm not going to bother putting first aid items in here. I've actually got 2 first aid kits. I've got one in my toolbox at work, and I've got one in my truck. So I don't really feel the need to put anything in here first aid wise, because I'm already going to have that on me to just grab. Like my big bug out bag here, I've got first aid kits and gauze and all that kind of stuff in here. But again, we're talking a short walk home. So that's what I'm going to put in here. Just like I said, if you've got comments or concerns or anything else different I can put in here, again, like where I work, I've got bottled water. They always keep cases and cases of bottled water. So my goal would be to get one of those or 2 of those bottles of water. But I also always keep a couple of spare bottles of water under the back seat of my truck. So I just don't see the point in wasting time and space putting a water in here. I've got my life straw in here if I ever have to drink out of a ditch or a puddle. But again, we're talking a 3-mile walk home, 5-mile walk home max, unless it's 900 degrees outside. And even then, I still should be able to make it home without needing water. But I do have the straw in here. I do have access to water in my truck and at the location I'm going to be at. And if I have this, I'm going to have my truck. It's that simple. So hopefully that helps somebody out. Questions, concerns, comments, throw them in the comment section. Let me know. I try to get back to everybody. Thanks for watching this quick video of what I'm throwing in my get home bag. Sure, everybody's got their own opinion. There's a million of them out there. Trust me, I've had it out with people before on the internet about what everybody carries in their get home bags. It's all going to be situational, and it's all going to be preference. As long as you've got the 3 priorities, fire, water, shelter, anything else that goes in there is just going to be a bonus. I've got 2 different ways to start and make a fire. I've got my emergency blanket and stuff. And then I've got my water straw, plus I've got access to water where I'm going to be. So I've got those 3 items. I've got multiple knives. I've got multiple flashlights. I've got a snack in there. And then I've got a couple other little odds and ends that I would just like to have to help me out on the way home. And then I've got my own personal protection in there. So I think this is just fine for my purposes. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good night.